Good morning. Welcome to Braves Country today, part of the Armchair Quarterbacks Network. Catch the Armchair Quarterbacks every day, 8:30 to 9:30 Eastern on YouTube Live here on this very channel. We got some programming notes real quick. We're going to be doing Braves Country again today, and then I do fully plan to do Braves Country on Monday, reaction to the Mets series and looking into the Nats as well. As the Braves big series, we will not be doing our daily show Armchair Quarterbacks Live on Monday and Tuesday, but I do plan on doing Braves Country. So there you have that. Braves last night, weird game. Okay, I mean let's be honest, when you have a rain delay and it really fell apart with Smiley, everything coming, all the wheels coming off in the what was it, the fifth inning, or sixth inning, excuse me. The Braves ended up losing, and they are now, pull up the standings real quick. The Braves are now 1.5 games out of first place. The Mets have a doubleheader today. They didn't play yesterday, so they have a doubleheader against Colorado. You don't like your chances, but look, it's usually hard to sweep a doubleheader, so we hope for a split by the Rockies. If not, we could go into tomorrow 2.5 full games out of first place, but still within fighting distance. The Marlins will play the Phillies as well today. Both of those are early starts at about noon Eastern. And regardless what happens with Phillies and the Marlins, you win because somebody's going to lose. So they both can't win. And you hope in a perfect world, if Philly were to beat the Marlins, that would push us a half game in front of the Marlins. And we would then be tied with Philadelphia. And then if the Mets were to get swept, we would be a half game behind the Mets going into tomorrow night. I don't expect that, because when you look at the pitching matchups today, Stroman is on the hill for the Mets in the first game against Marquez. I kind of expect that is going to be a W for the Mets. And then the second game, it's Lucchesi versus Senzatella. I give the Rockies a fighting chance to win that game, but that's going to be a Mets bullpen game. I fully expect the Rockies to have a decent chance of winning that one. So there you go with that. And then it's Lopez versus Howard and the Phillies Marlins. Okay. Looking back at last night's game with the Mets and Braves, the Mets lose, or Mets and Braves, Red Sox and Braves. The Braves lose 9-5, fell apart in the sixth inning, 4 runs there. And then the long rain delay, they came back. Essentially, look, I'll take a split against the Red Sox in Boston in any year, and especially in a year where they are playing really, really well. And so they actually got to Pavetta. I was pleasantly surprised. It was the Braves pitching that didn't hold up in this game, but the Red Sox do have a very electric offense, and you knew you couldn't keep them down for long. So we'll take the split. I don't look at that as a big time disappointment. We'll take the split and we'll go from there. Going into tomorrow's game, looking ahead real quick and towards the weekend, the Braves will send Ian Anderson to the hill. The Mets have not declared a starter yet, but I'm not going to speculate. Saturday, it's going to be Peterson versus Max Fried. And then what I suggested earlier in the week is coming true. We're going to skip a starter and put Morton back on the hill against DeGrom. That's going to be a nasty one. That's going to be 7:08 Eastern. That's going to be Memorial Day night, so to speak. Or Memorial Day Eve night, usually a big party night. I'm going to be locked into that. I cannot wait for that game. Morton versus DeGrom should be a hell of a ball game. I give the Braves a chance of winning every single one of these games. Will they go in and sweep the Mets? I seriously doubt it. Very, very difficult place to go in and win. I think we've got a decent chance of taking 2 out of 3, and that's what you want. That's what they did to us. You want to go in there and take 2 out of 3. You've got your big boys on the hill. There's no excuses. Anderson, Fried, and Morton are all going to go back to back to back to back, right? Which means they just got to get some offense going. And I think they'll score on Peterson. They're going to struggle against DeGrom. Everyone struggles against DeGrom. Jacob DeGrom is an all-timer. Jacob DeGrom, if he continues the way he's going, he's not going to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to be, is he a Mount Rushmore kind of pitcher? He's that phenomenal. What is he right now? His after his last outing, he's got a 0.8 ERA. 0.8 ERA. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. It's Bob Gibson like. So that's going to be a fun game to watch. Hopefully the Braves can scrape out some runs on Thursday. On Sunday. On Saturday, I think Friday, Saturday they'll get some runs going, and then at that point you're just looking for quality starts from Anderson and Fried, and some other news to pop in on you. They haven't announced it, but I do believe we're going to see Shane Greene this weekend. It's been kind of earmarked that this would be the weekend that we would see him. He pitched last night, 1 1/3 innings, no runs, had 1 strikeout, 1 walk. But I think after a couple of outings in AAA, there's no reason not to go ahead and bring him. And they've got the day off. They can bring him up. Of course, we got the news yesterday that Marcell Ozuna is done for about 5 to 6 weeks is the guesstimation, the time period. So we're talking about right after the All-Star break. Right after the All-Star break, you're going to add Huascar Ynoa and Marcell Ozuna to your roster. That's going to be a big bump. You just got to fan the flames until then. And you got to find a way to score. We'll see what the moves end up being. They have yet to put Marcell Ozuna on the IL, but that is coming. Knowing the Braves are going to wait till the last minute as they normally do. So we probably won't get that news until tomorrow. But if they decide to do it today, I would suspect that we're going to get a bat come up. And we've already talked about that we thought that it could be Orlando Arcia, but I have not got any indication yet on whether or not that of all the guys, he deserves it. He's ripping the cover off the ball. But whether or not that's going to play into their long-term plans is another thing. The Drew Waters things would be interesting. I just think they might be forcing it a little bit because although he's had some good outings recently, he's also struggled this year. And do you want to bring him up and do you want to ruin a guy early on? I'm going to say that the Braves have always done a really good job of making the decision on who to bring up and when to bring them up. So whatever they decide, I'm fully on board with. The only thing that ever drives me crazy about the Braves is the in-game decisions that they do in holding on to some of the pitchers that they've held on to. But as far as developing young players and developing players and making the right moves to bring them up, they usually do a pretty solid job with that. So we'll wait to see what they do with that. I'll be excited either way to see how they do it. Look, Adrianza can play some left field. I just don't know if he is going to. I think you want him more in a platoon situation. I don't think you want him full time at this point. He is a guy. He's also much more dangerous to have him coming off the bench, just like Pablo Sandoval in the DH position. That was great to have him in the lineup per se, but man, it is a lot more exciting to have him come up in the bottom of the 8th, the bottom of the 9th, et cetera, to have that bullet in your chamber to get ready for this guy. You just went through this and you got guys on runners on second and third, nobody out, 1 out, whatever. If you can put Pablo Sandoval up there, then you've got a decision making. Am I going to give him something to hit, or am I going to pitch around him and have to have Acuna come up with the bases loaded? Those kinds of situations is why you really like to have those bullets in your chamber. So we'll see what happens. Tomorrow we'll be back, and we'll be at that point we will know the starting pitcher for the Mets, and we'll take a look at the Mets series a little deeper. And have a great day, Braves Nation. And look, we don't have to worry about winning today, but we're go Rockies. And honestly, I think I'm pulling for the Marlins because I look at the Phillies as a much longer term threat throughout the season. So the more losses the Phillies can get, the better in my book. All right, we'll see you tomorrow, Braves country. We're hanging in there. We're hanging with all the injuries. We're hanging in there. So don't give up.
You're in Braves country.